Hey guys, welcome into the Pack Fantasy Football League podcast. We have an incredible special guest today. I'm very excited to be starting our new Meet the League series. This is where everybody gets to meet the league. Obviously, a lot of us already know each other, but there's some of us in other churches, other cities, other states that maybe we don't know everybody, and really the purpose being this league is really, we all know each other, we all compete against each other. Well, that's easier to do when you've seen them, you've met them, you've heard them talk about what they're all about in the fantasy community, and you could put a face to the name in which you're beating each week. So I'm here with Daniel Gross, Team Gross. He's considering a name change in a minute here. We'll see. We'll see what you guys think. And Daniel. Honestly, I don't know why Daniel didn't. He just missed the party on our first year. He became a disciple in September of 2019, and I think we had just done our draft in August of 2019 for our first year. But he's been with us ever since August, and so very excited to have you on as a guest. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, bro.
Awesome. Well, I do want you to give a chance to just really talk about your perspective, but also your experience. I think that's mostly what the purpose of these interviews are. Is it's not all about technical deals, waiver wire, draft strategy, but what got you into fantasy football in the first place?
So basically, Craig did.
Okay.
He was my discipler, and I remember he called me to be like, "Bro, you need to be in fantasy." And before I was a disciple, I hated fantasy football. I never did it.
Okay.
But I hated it because I felt like it corrupted the purity of the sport.
Okay.
And then I became a disciple, and I was like, "There's no purity in this sport. It's just a money making scheme, run by a bunch of worldly men. There's no, And I was like, and Craig kind of explained basically this is just a way for men to fellowship in the church, and he was like, and we really need another guy in our league. And so I was like, amen, I'll do it. So yeah, and it's been fun. I'm glad I joined.
Yeah, it definitely has been fun with Daniel there. I know I've taken a couple hits from Daniel over the years. I think this last year he beat me. I try to keep those out of my head. But so basically what you're saying is you didn't play fantasy football at all before this. Did you play any fantasy sports before this?
No, never.
Oh,
this
wow.
is the only fantasy league I've ever been a part of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would you say is your best and worst memory, I guess, from fantasy so far?
I think can I give two best memories?
Sure.
Okay. So I think my one best memory is, it's kind of a collection of memories, is just doing the drafts. Because I get to hang out with the guys and see my team build and get excited about my team, and then realize halfway through the draft that my team is probably going to suck. Yeah, so that's but I that's a good fellowship time. I enjoy that time.
Yeah, definitely.
My other good memory would be beating Joe Estep last year, because I think he was undefeated.
He had a really good team last year for sure.
Yeah, I want to say he was undefeated. He was 8-0 or something like that, and I was the first one to beat him because he had a bunch of players from the same team.
Yeah.
And they had a bye, so it was just kind of a throwaway week for him, and it was whoever he played, he was gonna lose. Yeah. And I was the lucky guy that got to play him that week, and so I was like, yeah, I beat Joe Estep, even though it was a little bit of an empty victory.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, because Joe, obviously Joe, he made it very far in the league this year in the playoffs, off of the back of the Bengals players.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
and I remember making a joke at midweek with you and Joe that you beat Joe by starting 2 tight ends.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
started a second tight end in your flex spot and beat Joe.
Yeah.
Joe didn't like that one too much, but yeah, that's fun. And the draft is awesome too. I think the draft is a great experience. I think for most of us, we come out of the draft feeling like we just stole the draft. Like, man, I can't believe they let me pick Allen Robinson in the 5th round, and then he just is an absolute dud. Yeah, so usually we feel good after the draft. But it's very hard to predict. It's very hard to predict. So, when do you prepare at all for the fantasy draft? I know you're only a couple years into this.
No. I wouldn't even know where to start, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just don't want to put the time in. It's not that serious to me. I enjoy playing with the team and managing the team throughout the year, and just watching the games. I'm always checking them, and my wife is saying, like, it's not going to change the outcome. Like, your phone is still going to be there in an hour, and like you can check the scores. And I'm like, but I gotta know what's going on right now. Yeah. So that's kind of the fun in it for me.
Yeah, it is fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if you touched on your worst memory. Do you have a worst memory?
A worst memory.
Like either it was bad or it was heartbreaking or anything of the sort.
So I don't remember exactly like where I finished every year. But it's been in about the same place. Like, I'm about the same draft number every year. And this last year, like, realizing, like, I'm going to be the same draft number as every other year, that was a bit tough for me. Because I was just like, oh my God. Like, I've not improved at all over this time. And, that was a little discouraging.
Oh man, I think I just sent the draft order, and yeah, you're picking fourth this year. Yeah, that was James for a while. He was 4th 3 years in a row, and then now Marcus took over his team and is picking first. So it could get worse.
Yeah, that's true.
What do you think? I know you kind of already touched on like kind of what you enjoy about the league, and do you think there's any areas that the league could improve?
I mean, I'm sure there are. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say that. But I don't really have any complaints.
Yeah.
My only complaint is I wish I won more, but
we'll work on
that's
that.
not the league's fault. So yeah, no, it's just it's a fun way to kind of do something with the guys, and I have no complaints.
Yeah, I think it's really, really cool, especially as we spread out amongst. I mean, we got Craig moved to Portland, and Gerald just went to Chicago, and RJ just came back from Chicago, and so it's kind of interesting seeing like, wow, we've got people all over the place playing, and this is one of the ways that we still keep up with everybody.
We
still keep up with Thomas after being out in Minneapolis for a few years, and it is really fun. Something that was a discussion in one of our podcast episodes a few months ago was improving the league by instituting a punishment for someone that finishes last place.
I do like that idea.
Yeah. Is there any ideas that you had thought of maybe at that time?
I think there was, but I don't remember it, honestly. Yeah. No.
No, I don't remember it.
Yeah.
I do remember RJ's vividly.
Yeah, I do remember RJ's.
RJ said you have to spend 24 hours at IHOP, and then you subtract an hour for every pancake you eat.
Yeah.
There's been some debate on how someone would go about that, right? I mean, not everybody's just gonna eat 23 pancakes and stay an hour, right? How are you tackling the IHOP punishment?
I would bring some books to be sure.
Sure.
And I wouldn't stuff myself on pancakes because I think that would be kind of counterproductive. Because you get like super stuffed and then you can't eat for a long time and you're just like stuck there while you. I think I would kind of like not stuff myself, just like eat as many as I can, but without being uncomfortable, and then wait to feel like I can eat some more. But you know, overall broad strategy is I'm eating as many pancakes as I can.
I gotcha.
Which I mean, I love pancakes, so
there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be tough for sure.
Yeah.
So I do want to implement something for next year's Big Loser, and so far, I mean, it's been encouraging. There's always been a different Big Loser, and every Big Loser has always bounced back the next year and made the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Joe Mike did it our first year, and then Thomas did it 2 years ago. And then Jameson did it last year.
Okay.
So now it's up to Marcus to keep the streak alive.
Come on, Marcus.
You got this. It could be anyone. It could be me. It could be me down there. That would suck, but it could be me.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to do something. I've heard of some different things, and hopefully by the time the draft rolls around, we'll have like a little poll, poll to see. Which punishment people like more than others. Okay. Yeah, so that'll be fun.
We could always pick one of the Impractical Jokers punishments.
Oh my goodness. Some of those make me cringe.
Yeah, some of them are really tough.
There was one where Murr had to sing in a choir dressed as a vampire. I literally could not watch that one. It was so cringy.
Yeah.
Oh, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's plenty more.
Yeah, there's some really good ones. I'm blanking on all of them right now, but...
Do you remember when Sal had to shout bingo when he didn't have bingo?
Oh, man.
And the old ladies were like about to hit him over the head with
they were about to kill him.
Like, yeah, they were not happy.
Yeah, that one's a funny one.
Yeah.
I also remember there are multiple punishments on Sal where he has to dig through either feces or garbage
to get his like car keys and stuff.
Yeah. I just saw one the other day where there's a pile of elephant poop.
Yeah.
With his keys hidden in it, and he has to dig through the whole thing. And then when he gets to the bottom, Joe goes, "Oh, are you looking for these?" And
they weren't even in there.
And he's so mad. It's really funny.
Yeah, maybe nothing that extreme.
Yeah.
Because didn't one of Sal's punishments he had to give birth to a calf?
Yeah. Oh,
like
man.
maybe not anything that crazy.
Yeah.
Especially for someone that's kind of by themselves. I mean, ultimately, if Thomas finishes last, I want someone to be there to document this.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, but he's the only person in our league in Minneapolis, so there's definitely time to mull it over for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming by.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, it's definitely always fun to hang out with the league mates, and especially I'm going to be able. I believe 6 of us are here in Columbus, and the other 6 of us are not in Columbus. So I'll have at least 4 other guests in that chair at some point or another during this summer, as we hopefully get these out every couple of weeks, every 2 to 3 weeks until draft day. So I know Craig is already has his big board going on. He already has his first 6 rounds figured out of who he wants to draft. Other people haven't even thought about it for months, and I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit.
Yeah.
So, thanks for coming, Dan.
Yeah, bro.
Appreciate you. Hope to see you guys again in the next episode, and maybe the next episode is you on the Pack Fantasy Football League podcast. Until then, love you guys, and I'll see you in the next episode.